All right, another Wusik Station 10 video, just coding and coding. So if you haven't checked out the other videos, you can check out what I was doing. But right now I'm dealing with the layers, background, and how I'm going to draw it on the screen and screw. So a full screen takes around 50K of memory from what I could gather from the math, because each pixel has 4 bytes. So the calculation is actually very simple. This is not a full screen actually. It's just the full area that shows the layer. So I'm going to multiply the values by 4. So this is the number of bytes divided by 1024. So that's no, I did something wrong. Wait. 3711 times 28 times 4. That's the number of bytes divided by 1004. That's the number kilobytes divided by 24. 28 megabytes. Is that correct? I think that's correct. 28 megabytes. So it's not a lot, but it can get a bit complicated when you have, let's say, 10 layers or something like that. So ideally, what would happen is that things are drawn per component instead. So I'm trying to think on how I'm going to do that, because that way you don't have to allocate multiple graphics for each layer like I'm doing right now. I'm locating a sprite which has the size of the layer, and that's taking 28 megabytes. So ideally, I should not be doing this in this way. I'm trying to think, because I have the layer that is fixed. Let's take a look at a few of the graphics. Okay, we have the background, and on the top of the background goes the background layer, which is this guy. Let's put it in here like that, and it should tile on the bottom like so, but I can't see a line there. So there is still some gray area at the bottom. It's producing that faint line. Okay, let's fix that. All right, cut it is 100 pixels from the top. Still showing some faint line in there. Got another 50 pixels, 40 pixels. Oh, I forgot to set where to cut from the top. 60. Again, Oh no, it's from the bottom. That's why it didn't cut the pixels that I was wanting to cut. Ah, now it's correct. I did it wrong the other time. Not a problem. Fix that. Okay, let me delete these two layers and see if now it's going to paste again. Oh, now it's perfect. So that's the thing I have to worry about. And on top goes the overlay. Another complicated thing. Overlay. Yeah, the thing around. I don't recall exactly, but it should be around. So that's a complicated math. I'm trying to think about it. It's not an easy one. The easy one is just to create a sprite for each layer or for all the layers. For all the layers wouldn't work because if I go like this, let's say 6, it doesn't work anymore. Let me compile this just to show the testing I was doing. If the sprite is too large, it's not going to show at all. So this is this test sprite I was doing. Is the size of the background area. Can even go as far as putting in the right place. Player background position. The show value 0 is just to show before and after. So this is just the background, and now with the sprite I'm creating top of it, and is being placed right in the correct place. But if I try to make it very large, let's say you have 8 layers, which is not that much absurd, but it's big. Before I was testing, it didn't work at least, so let's see if it's going to work now. Yeah, it's still working for 8 layers. But I would like to leave this open so it works with any number of layers, regardless of the what computer you have or anything like that. So I have put 14 layers now. Now it's white because it just failed to create the sprite. So that's one thing I was worried about. Um, the number of layers that's going to support. Can check the amount of memory it takes for 8 layers. Okay, you have 4. Let me show here. The the code is taking 486 megabytes, and after it creates the 8 layers, jumps to 720. So for 720 minus 86, that's 234 megabytes of memory for just 8 layers. It's not bad, but I don't know. I'm not very happy about it. I think it's a bit overkill. Let's say we're working on a project that has multiple samples and samplers and other plugins that are also taking a lot of memory. This could be a problem because 8 layers we could also think as 8 instances of Wusik station running, which for me is normal on my songs. I'm not very happy about this approach. Another thing that the last layer where it's set to repaint, where is it? Here, the overlay. It's being drawn every time something changes on the layers. That's also something I want to avoid. Because let's say you're moving a knob up and down like crazy, it's going to redraw the whole overlay, and that's a full screen 4K. Oh, that's a lot. It's really going to swamp the graphics card. So I'm thinking on each component receiving the background, the layer background, the overlay, so it knows what to draw and where. And this is just computed one time when you load a preset or add something like a new sound generator or a new layer or a new effect, then it has to worry about that. Otherwise, it's just repainting the area that's shown in the screen. In this case, this area here, whole square, rectangle, actually. But I also have to worry about the graphics tiling correctly. I don't know if that's going to work by itself, but it should. Oh, there's an ambulance coming up here. You can't hear because my microphone is very directional. But I think when I speak, oh, my way. So I have to think about two situations. When you screw, the image here has to screw and change. So there is no way of avoiding that. That that must happen. So okay, let me think this through. It's going to be the bottom overlay and then the top overlay. So instead of having, because I created a list of overlays. Menu, layers drawn. Okay, that's the overlay. I'm adding the overlay as an image, but I shouldn't be doing that. So first, let me remove that. Okay, loads here. That's correct. Loads the back layer. But for now, it just loads the text component. It's the preset name and the main background. Good. Now I have to worry about Here is the overlay. So being loaded. Okay, that's good. Let's think. I have my layer screw position and previous layer screw position -1. So it's going to screw the create another function here that's going to take care of most of the stuff. So well, it can be on the draw layers. Doesn't have to be in here. So in the draw layers is this file here. Oh, okay. Okay. We're going to call the draw waves if the previous position is different than the new layers position. We need to redraw the background. Which is this guy here. We need to redraw the background. And then we need to draw. I'm not going to be using anymore. We need to draw the other background. This guy is fixed, but the next one is the one that's going to be shifted depending on the screw position. So here's the funny thing. I should draw this in a variable so I can also pass this to the components as being the background. So let's try something different here. So first let me get rid of this layer sprite and the call. And instead I'm going to have scoped pointer. The call. Because this way I'm going to have this separated, and then I can first I have to create this. Right? Oh, can create this. No, we're going to create it first, right? And then you have to pass the size of it. Layer background position, width and height should work out. And then you have the decal, which is going to reside on the graphics unit memory. And you pass the little guy there. So now set drawable target. And if I recall, this should work. Just have to remember to set drawable target as null, so it goes back to the screen. So now I'm setting it to draw to my sprite file. And I don't need to change the position. It's going to the right on zero. Zero position, zero X and zero Y. And I have to draw the background of the layer 2 back layer. Just have now to figure the math to do this. So it uses the layer screw positioning. And on the end, we have to go update the call, which updates the memory, and we draw the call, which is going to be this guy. I just have to set up the position. Come on. Okay. Now the position is going to be back a bit, so I don't have to rewrite. Undo is your friend. Okay. Think it, maybe I don't need to pass this to graphics unit, but I'm going to check that later on if I can just write the sprite directly without have to worry about that. See what I have done here. This is going to create my background. Now I have to worry about where in the screw positioning this is being targeted at. So X is 0 and then the screw positioning. But at some point, this screw positioning is going to go past the size of the image. So play screw positioning. Okay. And maybe I'm going to have to draw 2 times the image. So now I have to get the height of the position first while it's higher than the height of the back layer. So it's higher. Now I have to take the whole image height from it -1 if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to stay on the image, showing on the image again. And then this a bit of a pain to create. Height going to be the height of the image -1 minus the screw positioning. And we have to repeat this in case the screw positioning is not correct. Then we can start drawing at this 0 point. And going to just do a quick thing here. Get mouse. Just to test with the mouse wheel. I don't think that's going to work because I probably have done something wrong, but just for the fun, not even showing. Let me revise this again. Should at least draw one time the whole thing. Check what this looks like. It's going to be 0, so the height is going to be the height minus 0. Something's not working the way I want. Why is this not center anymore? I want to check. Let's go step by step. I have created the sprite. I have created a call based on the sprite. Set the drawing target to the sprite, and then I draw the back main. Because I changed a lot in the pixel game engine, and maybe I broke something about drawing to a sprite. I don't know. Could be that. Not center anymore. The mouse wheel is working. Call. Maybe I'm forgetting to update the screen. Could be. Most likely. Or not. Okay, I can't draw the color sprite because it resides in the graphics card memory and GPU. So that's why it's not working. My theory, at least. Oh, I'm not going to be seeing anything right here because just writing the whole background. Be seeing something, some glitch going on with that. Oh boy. Oh, no glitch. Like it's not drawing anything. Oh, come on. Update screen sets to true. Just in case I'm going to return before anything. Be drawing the background. Oh, okay. I'm drawing at 0 position. That's why I'm not seeing anything. Because it's drawing the whole thing at 0 position is the same thing as the current background, of course. Silly. Oh, it's not displaying anything. Okay. The screen set to yes. Oh, maybe I broke the sprite stuff when I did my changes to the code. Oh, there you go. That's what I was expecting at least. Calm. Right. See if it's going to draw the sprite correctly. Drawing. Weird. I think I broke something. Have to revise the whole thing. Can't write a decal. Write a sprite. But I doubt that I can do. Oh, to update the decal. The new sprite stuff if it has any. It's not working. Really not working. But I don't remember changing that much in the code for it to stop working. Oh, there, it works now. Okay, it is working. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay, I can set the sprite and update sprite to the decal on the graphics card memory. Just going to say GPU. Easier. GPU. Also correct. Okay, let's take a look at it again. And this is just for testing. One is going to be very slow browsing, but just for testing. So okay, let me think this over again. The only thing that's not working is the draw sprite. So that one I could be the one to be blamed about. Because I did change something. But let me test again. Maybe it is working. But then I don't have to use the graphics memory just for this background. Because it's not going to be quickly taken from the happening. I have to check why the sprite is not correctly working. I'm not going to bother now because this is not going to take much memory and it's just one object. All is working correctly. So now to the partial sprite instead. Okay. The draw partial sprite is the positioning. It's different. Source source positioning is this one. Then the size. Okay. So I'm drawing the partial background. Now I have to calculate my positioning relative. Oh boy. Okay. I think this is going to work. So partial sprite. Size and nothing else. Are we good, compiler? Because that's in the call, not the sprite. Okay, that's good. Okay, everything else seems to be okay. Just this loop here that we'll have to double check. should not never be negative. I'm not going. I don't think it's going to ever be. I have to run this 2 times because it takes 2 runs to tile up enough of the background layer that it looks okay. Okay, that's almost it. Can see that the back layer it's working. Just missing the bottom area, which I need to tile. Oh, what I'm going to do? Run this 2 times. So if the layer position plus the layer height well actually seems the background is shorter, you always have to run 2 times. So yeah, that's going to be we only adjust for the first time. For the second time, we don't adjust. Or no, not that's not going to work like that. We have to run the math 2 times manually. No loops. So top background, layer background, and then the bottom layer background. Okay, the top one is easy. We just reduce the value until it matches. Until it matches the correct size. I can test this now. Just have to roll them out. Not working. Ding. Screen. Because I'm writing the whole background to the sprite, which resets the sprite. Oh, it's not in the right way. Hmm. Interesting. Here's back around. Round. That's weird. I've been doing that. I'm going to do instead. See if I can clear it. Just test. but I don't usually need to do that. Hanging. Is the if there is a way to clear the sprite. Wouldn't mind to clear it myself, but there must be another way to do that. Oh, maybe I just use the fill rectangle, fill as black. That doesn't make any sense because my background is opaque. Huh. Clear the name of the. Hmm. Drawing the background. The background is opaque. It's not. It doesn't have any transparency. So it should be behaving like that. But who knows? Like it's drawing just the layers background and not the layer background. Oh boy, what is going on? Must be something that I'm not understanding. I'm going to try something. Sprite. Just going to draw the whole background again just to check. Maybe my math here is wrong. Oh yeah, same thing. That's weird. Maybe I'm going to check this out tomorrow. Starting to get tired. Like the background is not being redrawn. Annoying. Here, when I mess up, oh, look, the menu is working. When I mess with the menu, it's drawing a background behind the menu. So it does work. Oh, what a man. See, the background is being drawn. Why? Oh, why? Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to do this differently because I don't need this on the sprite itself. No, I actually need it. I need the background on on the sprite because I need to pass this as the background for all the components. Oh, yeah. Getting complicated. Simple as this is not working. I don't understand. Because if I go like this, I'll draw the whole background before this, the layer background, see what happens. It's drawing. Why is it not working the other way around? I need to figure this one out. Drive me nuts. See, see again. I'm drawing the whole background to the file. Main background, then the background for the layers. I don't understand this. Of course, I could just redraw the background, but the problem is, let's say I put a knob. The knob moves. It has to redraw the background that goes in it. Um, I could just pass this background layer sprite to all components that goes on the layer, so it knows what goes behind it. But this way, I will have to pass two variables and draw two things. Just trying to avoid that. But too big of a deal to draw two because it's going to be very small. Just annoys me that why it doesn't work. I draw the sprite there, then I draw the partial sprite. Let's see if I put the background on top again, just see what kind of mess it does. Hmm. See, now it's drawing the background. Oh, come on. What's going on? Set draw target, player's background sprite. Draw sprite. Cache the image the calls the back main. Unless I have to call the update to the call before I set the draw target. See it. It's really not drawing. Why it's not drawing? Uh I remember one thing. Since I'm dealing with sprites, I have to set up something. The engine, city, blend. Set pixel mode. Not mistaken, I have to do that. Set pixel mode. Full transparency. Ah, normal is no transparency. So before I draw the background, I use normal, and then before I draw the layer sprite, because by default the calls are all transparent. I think that's it. But I haven't used sprite directly anywhere. Oh, now it's working. Just have to change the position of. Yeah, that was it. Oh boy. Shift happens. Also Control to the L. Care about it. Let's leave that. So now it should work correctly. I just don't understand why it's not updating the positioning after it loads everything. Let me check the loading part here. Yeah. For the first time you open the interface, it refreshes the screw area. No, it didn't. But at least the screw part is working. Interesting. There is a very large delay from what I'm looking at the monitor and on the OBS stream. It's getting very crazy, the monitor. Oh, it's working. But the stream is very erratic. Just don't understand why the first time the thing is updating is not updating. It's going to annoy me, pretty sure. Okay, this is kind of working. So never want to be less than 0. If position changes, do maybe this is going to help. Okay, so I set my target to my sprite. And actually, it is good to have all this background information in a decal that is loaded in a graphics card, because Then I can pass this to like to a button, a knob, and when you move it, it just draws that area very quickly because the sprite is very slow compared to the call. Another thing, another thing I'm thinking is that think about I have a screenshot of the whole interface, a variable, but sometimes I need that. But maybe once things all done, I can change that. What I'm talking about is this. So this whole thing here is on in memory, but I could split this just the area of the layer scrolling, then the top and the right. That would save some memory. Doesn't go below zero. That's what happens. Goes far tiles. I have to put the second part on the. Right now, I'm over. I'm duplicating this background area when I don't really need to duplicate it. That's okay. I can change it later.